Since the beginning of creation, one of the most intriguing questions has been, if God is omniscient and knew that Lucifer would fall, why did he create him anyway? To understand this question, we need to look at one of the deepest principles of existence: free will. Lucifer was not created as an evil being. On the contrary, he was one of the most magnificent angels, endowed with light, splendor, and incomparable wisdom. His name, which means bearer of light, reflected his celestial essence and his closeness to God. He had a glorious purpose in the celestial kingdom, being a leader among the angels and a guardian of divine harmony. However, something happened. Something that transformed a radiant being into an adversary of God. His heart, once full of reverence, began to swell with ambition. His desire for greatness exceeded the limits established by the Creator, and his splendor became the cause of his downfall. But why did God allow this? Leave your opinion. We want to know. The answer lies in the very essence of divine love. God does not create puppets, but free beings, endowed with consciousness and discernment, capable of choosing between loyalty and rebellion. Love is only true when there is freedom, for without choice, there can be no genuine devotion. Free will was a gift granted to all intelligent creation, including the angels. Lucifer had everything he could desire: glory, power, closeness to God, and an exalted purpose. However, instead of recognizing that everything came from the Creator, he began to desire absolute autonomy. His story is not just the fall of an angel, but the revelation of what happens when creation desires to become greater than the Creator, attempting to replace divine order with its own will. This choice led to his downfall and changed the course of spiritual existence forever. Pride and disobedience are central themes in the story of Lucifer. His fall from grace is a powerful reminder of the consequences of hubris and defiance against divine order. The greatness of Lucifer is described in the Bible with impressive details. In Ezekiel chapter 28 verses 12 to 15, he is called the anointed cherub, adorned with precious stones, perfect in wisdom and beauty. Each precious stone that covered him, sardius, topaz, onyx, beryl, sapphire, carbuncle, and emerald, symbolized his elevated position and his closeness to God. His attire was not just an ornament, but a representation of the divine glory reflected in him. His position was so exalted that he was close to the very throne of God, directly participating in celestial deliberations. He had access to God's presence like few beings in the universe. His mission was glorious: to preserve celestial order, lead armies of angels in worship, and reflect the light of the Almighty in a splendid way. It was an immeasurable privilege, a gift that no other created being possessed in the same way. However, this very perfection planted in him the seed of pride. He began to look at himself no longer as a servant of God's glory, but as someone worthy of receiving that glory for himself. The perfection granted to him was not enough for his heart, for he desired something impossible: to be equal to the Creator. His splendor, which should have pointed to God, became the reason for his own downfall. Lucifer's original purpose was honorable. He was to be a guardian of the divine presence, a leader among the angels, and a channel of God's magnificence. His role involved protecting divine mysteries and maintaining celestial order. He was among the highest angelic beings and participated in the most sublime manifestations of God's glory. As an anointed cherub, his closeness to the Almighty gave him knowledge, authority, and beauty that few could comprehend. However, the more he contemplated his own glory, the more he desired something beyond what had been assigned to him. His heart began to nurture a dangerous ambition. He started questioning, why should I submit? Why should only God be exalted? These questions echoed in his mind until they became a burning desire for usurpation. His greatest blessing became his greatest curse, and his light turned into darkness within him. Then pride was born within him. He stopped seeing the source of his light and began to see himself as the source. Pride started corroding his heart until an overwhelming desire consumed him. He wanted to be worshipped. In Isaiah chapter 14 verses 12 to 14, Lucifer declares his intention, saying, "I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God." His ambition was not just grand, but also fatal. The first sin in the universe was born in the heart of a perfect angel. This rebellion did not happen in secret. Lucifer's heart, already inflamed with pride, began to devise strategies to convince other angels to join him. He sowed doubts about divine sovereignty, questioning why only God should reign. In his cunning, he promised a new system of celestial government, where there would be no submission, only equality among angelic beings. His seductive discourse attracted a third of the angels of heaven, as described in Revelation 12, verse 4, where a great dragon drags with its tail a third of the stars. These stars represent the angels who were persuaded to follow Lucifer. This movement grew until heaven itself was divided. The climate of loyalty was tested, and the moment of confrontation arrived. Revelation 12, verses 7 to 9 describes the epic conflict. Michael and his angels fought against Lucifer and his followers. The battle was intense, with colossal forces clashing in the celestial realm. What was once a place of perfect harmony now became a battlefield of spiritual war. However, the outcome was already written. Lucifer and his allies were defeated and cast out of heaven. They were expelled, falling like lightning to the earth, as described in Luke 10, verse 18, where Jesus declares, "I saw Satan fall from heaven like lightning." The brightness that Lucifer once had was extinguished, and he was reduced to the condition of a defeated adversary, banished from God's presence. In understanding Satan's fate, we uncover profound lessons for humanity. His story is one of pride, rebellion, and ultimate downfall, serving as a cautionary tale. It reminds us of the consequences of turning away from divine truth and the importance of humility and obedience to God. Now, Lucifer, who was once a celestial prince, became Satan, the adversary, the father of lies and the enemy of souls. He fell not only from his position, but also from his communion with God. His new purpose became destruction, deception, and opposition to all that is divine. But his fall does not mean that he will have an eternal kingdom in hell. Many believe that Satan rules hell, but this idea is not biblical. He is not a king of the underworld, but a condemned being who, in God's appointed time, will face total destruction. Satan's final destiny is already determined. In Revelation chapter 20, verse 10, it is written that he will be cast into the lake of fire and sulfur, where he will be tormented day and night, forever and ever. This will not be a position of dominion, but of punishment. He will be completely defeated, with no possibility of return. His time to act on earth is short, and he knows it, which makes him intensify his assault against humanity. Like a roaring lion seeking whom to devour, as mentioned in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, he tries to drag as many souls as possible with him to condemnation. And what does this story teach us? It reveals the seriousness of pride and disobedience. Lucifer had the opportunity to be in God's presence, but chose to walk away. This same choice is presented to each of us daily, to follow God's ways or to follow our own will. Lucifer's story also warns us about the dangers of self-sufficiency. When a created being believes that it can live without its creator, it places itself on the path to destruction. God made us to be in communion with him, and true joy is found in recognizing his sovereignty over our lives. That free will is a gift, but also a responsibility. Just as Lucifer chose to walk away from God, we also have choices to make. Pride leads to ruin, but humility brings us closer to the Creator. While Lucifer exalted himself and was cast into the abyss, Christ humbled himself and was exalted above all. God continues to give us this choice. Will we follow the path of rebellion or the path of grace? This is the question every heart must answer, because in the end, true love can only exist where there is freedom to choose. If this message spoke to your heart, share it, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Together we will explore the deep truths of God's Word and understand more about the mysteries of divine creation. May God bless and keep you.